Good morning, everyone. I'm Aaron Kessler, a freelance colorist. I'm back for episode 2. We've broke out the lighting gear. It makes such a huge difference. And that's a good opening point, I guess, is color can only go so far when the footage has not been shot correctly. So if you have badly lit footage, poorly composed, the art direction is not sound, then color can only go so far. So the cinematography and the art direction really have a huge role to play in the final look of the film. So be warned, if you've shot your footage poorly, then I hate to say it, but don't expect color to save it. Color can make it look better, but it can't make it look the best. So lighting gear is phenomenal. So today I want to talk to you about the print stock method. So we all know about film, right? Film is like generally considered to be the ideal look. I would argue that actual film itself is not always the ideal look, but there are characteristics and mechanics of how film processes an image that are definitely considered desirable. But anyway, the print stock method is basically, so when you shot on film, when you still shoot on film, you capture the scene with a negative print. So that is what is put inside the camera. That's what the light exposes, is that negative print. It captures the scene. But that negative print is not suitable for viewing. So what happens is it goes through a process of color timing, where it's basically like color grading, but for film, only a little more basic, where you'd use printer lights to change the exposure, and then you change the color balance with red, green, and blue printer lights, and then different chemical bath processes. You can change the contrast and some other image qualities. But so that's kind of like your color grading process. And then the film has to be printed to a print stock. So the print stock basically takes it from that sort of log, that really flat, washed out state, into something that's more suitable for convenient and natural viewing. So the print stock is both creative and artistic and technical. And print stocks have evolved throughout the years. I don't know the specifics on that, but if you watch different movies throughout the time, obviously the look changes. Kodak and Fuji refined their processes, et cetera. So what does that mean for us in the digital age? Well, that means that we want to split up our color grading process into 2 parts. So like film, we come in and we get a negative, or rather a log file that is flat and washed out in order to preserve the most information from the camera. And then we enter in color grading, but we kind of have to build our own print stock. We kind of have to build our own print stock to get it to a reasonable state of viewing. So there's 2 aspects to that. There's the creative, and then there's the technical. So the technical is basically a conversion to what is called display space. So that would be, if you're familiar with the term Rec. 709, that's where this comes in, is one of the very easy ways, some would argue the only way, to transform that footage into something that's readily viewable, is to do a Rec. 709 conversion. So basically, if you shot an RE log C3, you would then go and resolve, do a color space transform, and say, hey, I want to take this footage from RE log C3 into Rec. 709 to make it suitable for viewing. So that's a technical conversion. It does a lot of things that are hard to do manually and resolve unless you really know what you're doing. So there's that. It's a very Then the next is the creative or the artistic expression. So while we, in addition to doing the technical transform, we want to add our own, want to add our own flavor to the look and what's being done in that conversion process. So that's things like contrast, bringing out different hues, adjusting, density, a lot of other nerdy things. You can get really complicated with this. So, but what do we do with the print stock? We apply that to everything at the timeline or the group level. So we apply it to every shot. And one of the things that does is it makes it look more consistent. So you've locked in a number of different adjustments that are going to make everything look reasonably good, 80% there. And it's just an easier way to manage that. That way, when somebody comes in and says, when your client comes in, when the director of photography and or director says, I want to change the entire look of the piece, well then you just change that once in the timeline. But we want to separate this print stock understanding from the shot level corrections. These are things that, hey, we need to do to this shot and this shot alone to get it to look right or get it to look where we want it to go. So yeah, that's basically the print stock method. It's a wonderful way to work, and I love it. I do it all the time. I can't imagine ever not working that way. Some people say, yeah, when you work in commercials, you should do everything on the shot level. I disagree. I won't work that way. But yeah, print stock. So hope that helps. And if next time you work with a colorist and they talk about using a print stock method, you'll understand that they break the look up, they break the grade up into different sections. The print stock, what's done. Print stock, or also thought of as a look, they're kind of a little bit interchangeable. And then things that are done at a shot level, adjustments that are made at that level. So hope that helps. Happy filmmaking.